Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Core Competencies Fall Summit 2025. 5 days of learning, 16 coaching leaders, 20 plus CCEUs to elevate your practice. As Claudia had mentioned, we have 5 sessions left. We've got today's right now this morning, and then we've got 2 more later today, and then we've got 3 tomorrow. So what do we have later today? At noon, Jonathan Passmore is coming on, and I know everybody wants to come see that because he knows a little thing or two about AI. And he will be talking about AI and coaching, what we need to know, what we know and what we need to know. So check that out a little bit later today at noon. After that, at 5:30, my good friend Julius Adornez, he is going to be talking about helping clients set compelling goals. He was in our masterclass a couple of years ago. He was amazing. And as you can see, he's an MCC and an ACTC, which is a team coach. So he's got all that going on. But you know what? Nothing's better than what we've got for us right now. Mr. MCC himself, Fernando Celis. Fernando, I'm not even going to read your bio because I'm sure you're going to get to talk a little bit about it, but I do want to say, and pretty much everybody on the call already knows, that he is the head of the Barter Coaching program here at ICF South Florida. He's amazing. He's just one of the best, and you're going to enjoy this session a lot. So, Fernando, if it's okay with you, I'm going to let you have the floor and introduce yourself. And there we go.
Absolutely.
Welcome.
And thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Claudia, everyone at ICF South Florida. Katia, and welcome to this session. We're going to have a reflection, a conversation, an expression session about AI and creativity, consciousness around the coaching competencies. And first of all, I just want to see you all, if you can light the cameras up, just to see a show of hands. Who here uses, AI at a continually, a daily basis? I think we're all kind of familiar. If not, it's cool because this is about that too. We need to know what we don't know because there is something going on. And what I've seen is that the speed at which these processes and technology are coming in is way faster than what any organization or any company or any federation is capable of handling, analyzing, and conveying at an appropriate time. And I know that ICF is doing what it can do to take it in account. We're going to talk about that too in the new amendment to the competencies. There's a division of AI. There's Susan Chelsea, which is, I've been wanting to speak with her. And tomorrow we're going to have Jonathan Passmore that I follow because he's on top of things as well. And I love this. I love what's going on. But in the context of that, we are the human beings that are making AI possible. We have to start with that distinction. I mean, AI does not exist without the participation of the human element. So there's a whole conversation about what impact it has on us. And I'm going to share the screen. We're going to be working back and forth. And if you have your computer ready, you will have a little link to interact and have a little exercise, a little activity with the GPT. So this is called AI with Consciousness, Ethical Creativity for Well-Being. And here we're in the Fall Summit. And as something happens and we don't know. Breaking news, well, it's not so much breaking. But it was September, we're in October. The competencies have amendments, have something. What do they call it? An amendment or an addition? Is it an amendment, Jimmy?
It's an update.
Yeah, an update,
Okay.
I would call it. It's a revision.
Yeah, because I got the term amendment in my mind because recently I became a U.S. citizen. I was sworn in, and I had to take the test, so I had to memorize the Constitution and all the amendments. And so, how many are there? Wow.
I think
They
it's
ask you
fair to
questions.
say, Fernando, you know more than almost every American right now.
No, but they ask questions. They'll ask questions that'll put you there. What is the capital of South Dakota? I didn't study that one. So in the new core competencies, there's a couple of terms that we have to look into. Um, 202, Mindset of Coaching, talks about technology, best practices and use of technology. And I know Joel Girolamo and all of them are talking about this because this is about what's happening now in the world. They also mention supervision as something that we have to look into. So this is to understand that things are going to happen quickly and more quickly in the realm of AI, where things are duplicating itself every day. And AI is doing stuff that are freaking people out. There's a lot of fear and a lot of resistance. And the reflection I want to state at this moment is for all of us. This is just a reflection question to frame this conversation of intelligence versus consciousness. What if AI doesn't need to become more human? What if humans need to become more conscious? And I'm referring to the levels of consciousness of whichever model you have learned. David Hawkins, Claire Graves, spiral dynamics. We are all, as a society, in a level of consciousness that is connected with the context that surrounds us. And we have evolved over time. And we always see in these graphs, like Ken Wilber, he has the qual, and that there's another level of consciousness that we are aiming for. We've gone from a red or control structured state of mind, a state of consciousness, to a rule-driven society, to a creative, industrial type of level of consciousness, to a green level of consciousness, where we're conscious of the environment, and we're going towards a turquoise, or what they call the yellow, where we are all connected. And I think that if we look at AI, AI is doing what human beings do. So that means that that is the indicator. It's time to evolve. Now, I'm going to speak from my perspective, and this is a little bit about me. I'm a surfer, and I came into coaching with the same reason I went into surfing. I'm introverted, extremely. I'm very shy. I was raised in the United States, and when I was 10, my parents that were diplomats went back to Venezuela, and all of a sudden I'm in a different society, different language. I got really pissed off, and I'm introverted. I just decided not to speak. I became an artist, a musician, and I was very quiet. I did good grades. And I chose surfing as a sport because I could get into my introversion in the ocean. Nobody had to judge me. I didn't have to interact with a team. I just had 3 friends. I think they were also introverts. No, one of them wasn't, definitely not. But it was that until I went to school. When I was in college in Daytona Beach Community College, because I started my university in Venezuela, I went to Daytona Beach. I started seeing that socially I was impaired. I'm the only Venezuelan that doesn't know how to dance, but I could never face rejection. That's how bad it was. And when I was in Daytona Beach and I witnessed my first spring break, dude, I mean, I could, I had to do something, because if not, I was going to die, because all these students and all the girls from Georgia and Boston would come in to Daytona. So I started looking into books. I started looking into training. I started looking into ways. And eventually I ran into coaching. I ran into the human potential movement that was going on in California. And that helped me. And that is why I got into coaching, because if this helps me, I wanted, I got a thirst and desire to learn everything there is about transformation development. And I did all the programs, and eventually I became certified, and then I went into the IAC, Board of Governors, ICF, and recently I got my MCC. So this is what we do. We coach. We are all coaches and competent coaches. We are the top of the pyramid of the 5% that abides by what could be the governing factor where there are millions of coaches. And now, if you look at this clip, tell me in the chat, who's the coach and who's the client? No sound whatsoever. Who's the coach and who's the client? The lady on the right with the gray jacket or the lady on the left with the blue blouse? Which one of these two is the coach?
Well, the funny thing is, from the still, I thought it was going to be the lady in blue, but then once the video started, I would say it's probably the lady in the gray, but it's really hard to tell.
The lady, and then what gave it away?
Well, I don't know. Like I said, in the still clip, it looked like the woman in blue was just sitting there patiently listening. But then as it went on, the lady in blue got up out of her chair and she just moved a little more and she looked more like a client than a coach.
Mm-hmm. And I see Claudia says her presence. There's different factors here. What do you observe?
Fernando, in the picture in the beginning, you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell, but with the movement, you go towards thinking, and I'm not thinking who's the coach, I'm thinking who's the client.
Uh-huh.
No, so because in the beginning it could be just somebody that dresses informally, and that's fine. But in terms of the way who I think is the client is expressing, moving, and the coach, who I think it is, it's just smiling, staying there, but giving space.
Giving
I
space.
think her posture and the way she handles is very like calm. Like she knows exactly who she is, and she, she's like not zen, but like even though she is relatable with the emotion of the girl or the other lady, her attitude is very like, I know who I am and I know what I'm doing.
That's interesting. That's fascinating. Claudia?
Well, for me, the lady in gray, I think it's the coach. She follows her client with her eyes all the time. She doesn't lose sight of that, of her.
And that's amazing. Alexandra?
So this still that we see now with the lady holding her hand before her mouth, big eyes, that is lots of reaction. So I think that this actually needs to be the client, as clients are welcome to have, talk out loud, to explore their emotions or whatever. So I think that the lady in blue is definitely the coachee and the lady in gray, the coach.
Incredible. And thank you, because you observed so many distinctions from a clip in a formal setting of a master class of competencies, ICF South Florida. And this is something interesting about this conversation. This clip was AI generated, especially for this presentation. When I was designing this conversation, I said, I need to find this exercise I want to do. And I was looking and looking and looking at mine. And I said, I didn't like how I looked at all the sessions from the school. And then I went into Gemini VO3. I said, I explained. I usually talk to GPT complete. Listen, they invited me to this thing. I'm freaking out. I'm trying to do something very interesting. I need a clip of two coaches interacting in a corporate session and somebody having a breakthrough, but the coach behaving as an ICF master coach. And in less than 10 minutes, it gave me this perfect clip for this exercise. What do you think? I think this is amazing. This is science fiction. So let's go and look at AI old school. Let's not look at it with the technology and the prompts and the engineering and all this stuff and GPT and Gemini and DeepSeek and all that stuff and CoachVox. No, let's go old school. Let's go our deep understanding of the processes of transformation. Let's go to hero's journey. And in this image, you see Wendy Rhodes from Billions. Okay, everybody watch Billions here? And she's a corporate coach. Although there's a lot of Hollywood in her interventions, I was reading because she says coachy stuff. And I was investigating, and yeah, her character is based on a real coach from New York City that works Wall Street. Now, this is a series, a TV. And I want to refer to the hero's journey and to the work of Joseph Campbell, and how Joseph Campbell studied all the legends, all the stories, all the elements of heroes to find a common element. Him and Carl Jung started questioning, why is it that all cultures in all of history have the same process of the hero's journey? The hero from Greek mythology, Perseus, is practically a copy of these ancient legends of the Navajo or of the tribes of New Guinea or of the Chinese. So question here is, how many of you, to understand the hero's journey better, how many of you have seen a great movie more than once? Raise their hand. Same movie. So twice, 3 times the same movie? Seen the same movie 3, 4 times? I've got nothing else to do. Well, this is the thing. There are movies that are so captivating that move us inside. How many of you have cried watching a movie? How many of you have kids that have to watch the same movie over and over again forever? If you're my generation of kids, you know, it was The Lion King every day. There's something about these stories that Joseph Campbell had something going. And it's this concept of the hero's journey. So tell me in the chat, which are those movies that you so much love that you watch them 3 or 4 times? Write it in the chat quickly. What is that movie? Which is that one story that connects you so much that you watch it again and again, even with your kids? Let's see what you put in the chat. Babe, the little piggy, Babe, Jimmy Glennis?
That is correct. So many times we've seen that one with them when they were little.
Yeah, Tarzan, Lion King, Unbearable Lightness of Being, The Perfume, Perfume de Madonna. Perfume, what else?
Peter Sansky.
Okay.
A novel, and then they made a movie.
Pretty Woman. What Dreams May Come, Robin Williams. Minority Report. Look at these movies. My Neighbor Totoro. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Look at that, and let's look at Joseph Campbell. So Joseph Campbell talks about the journey from the known to the unknown, from the familiarity of their original space to the adventure where everything can happen. The hero starts in his zone of familiarity, okay? So Tarzan is a guy in the jungle. That's his world. Let's see, you have the Fisher King is, I think it's a hero's journey of the reporter, the guy that was like Howard Stern. Babe, familiarity is a farmer that has sheepdogs and stuff. And he has a little piggy. That's the familiarity. But then there's something that happens. Sometimes there's a refusal of the call. There's a resistance. You know, Rocky Balboa was reluctant at the beginning to fight Apollo Creed. You have Pretty Woman is the familiarity of Vivian. She's a prostitute in LA. That's her world. And they receive a call to adventure. Something happens voluntarily or involuntarily that has the hero cross that line. All of a sudden, the piggy is a sheepdog. All of a sudden, Mickey and Rocky get together because they decide to fight Apollo Creed. Tarzan gets a visit from Jane. Everything changes because she brings the human beings in. There's stuff that happens. Pretty Woman receives a call to adventure from the fella. What's the name of the fella? Pretty Woman. I know Vivian. He's Richard. What was his name?
Richard
Richard
Gere.
Gere, but
Yeah, Richard. So the call to adventure is her falling in love, her starting to love the character, understanding her true self. And that's what's going to happen in the hero's journey. Establishing goals, search for greatness. The hero always finds allies, finds a friend, finds a guide. Tarzan gets something, a wise ape or somebody. Pretty Woman, Vivian finds, remember the manager of the hotel? Gives her tools. And it happens in all the stories. And we get so connected with that because it's us. And eventually has to overcome obstacles, has to face enemies. And the enemy is internal or external. Edwards, it says. Yeah, good. Rocky Horror Picture Show. That would be a good one to. Who's the hero? That's a comedy, but the hero's journey of. I would say is his own hero's journey on one end. You know, the guy, or the hero's journey of Brad and Janet. Brad and Janet are a couple called to adventure. They never know it coming. They see a house with a light. They go in and everything happens. Then there is the encounter with the goddess. The hero always gets to a point where something happens that connects him to something deeper, something more valuable. Okay? It wasn't the goal he set out to get. It's something deeper. Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, at the beginning, he wants the rocks with the diamonds because he wants fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory. But in the end, what does he discover? That the children, the towns, the rebirth of nature was more important, and to return the stones to where they belong. That is the hero's journey. And that's what it detonates in each one of us. A battle to discover a new way and a return with the treasure. So we are in a place where we are witnessing a new adventure. And this goes through 3 stages. Innovation that awakes us, to get to the transformation, to integrate wisdom with technology, but going through the trials. And this is what I'm seeing in coaching sessions. Fear of replacement, ethical ambiguity. So let's keep on working this old school before we go into do a little bit of speed coaching. And let's shift to Carl Jung. And he explained a lot about archetype. And this is a very simple way of talking about archetype, but we use it. And it's always very well linked with all the processes we use to measure and do assessments on personality and behavior. The wizard, the warrior, the sage, and the lover. 4 archetypes. And they're in everything. They're in the DISC, they're in the MBTA, they're in the PATH, they're in the Hogan. 4 quadrants, vision, relationships, analysis, and execution. So the wizard is that part of us that we all have that is creative, that likes the fun part, that wants something new, that likes variety. We all have these traits. Some of us have 1 or 2 more dominant than others. It's what makes us human beings. So we have the wizard. Now let's think of these archetypes as your personal assistant in AI. A wizard AI is your strategic advisor, revealing hidden patterns, insights, organizing ideas, creating new ways, giving you new ideas. The other day I had a barter coaching and I ran out of activities and I asked my GPT, which is Liz 420, listen, what can I do? And he developed something I freaked out. It was a bingo. So what I did was put a clip and I put the competencies in a bingo card. So whoever gets a line and says bingo, you know, nails it. But then they have to reflect back. What did you see? Where did you see that competency? Interesting. The warrior AI, picture it as your champion. That's the part of us that executes, that gives a fight, that protects, that makes the decision. So the warrior AI is your champion, fighting inefficiencies, protecting client outcomes. Then we have the sage, and it's that part of us. And I see a lot of sages, you know, that they want to coach ACC, PCC, perfect level. The sage coaches are 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. But imagine that sage AI as your knowledge keeper, processing data, informed decisions, analyzing your coaching sessions, organizing projects. And then we have the lover. A lot of coaches love us because we're so into this. We're so caring. I mean, if you listen to Elena Espinal yesterday, it was a mix of lover with sage, you know, that deep caring, a compassionate partner, personalizing care and human connection. So these are 4 archetypes. So which archetype leads your relationship with technology? Write it in the chat. Which one of these leads your relationship with technology? Give me the wizard, wizard sage, warrior sage, wizard. Well, this is fascinating. Sage. Wizard and, you know, wizard and sage are antagonists, you know? The wizard always has beef with the sage. He thinks you're wasting your time, and the sage is, dude, you know, go to the beach. All of them, Shanghu. Excellent. Sage and lover. Now, this is what we're going to do at this point. We're going to do a little bit of speed coaching. We're going to get into groups of 3 in the breakout rooms. Now look at these 4 questions and pick one, the one that resonates with you because of the answer. What part of your humanity do you refuse to delegate to technology? Remember, pick the question that resonates with you because you have a strong position on it. How might AI mirror your own unconscious patterns? The one that reflects with yourself. Maybe this is interesting for you. You want to share. You want somebody to ask you that question. What future would you design if consciousness were your operating system? And 3, what ethical compass will you carry into innovation? So pick one of those 4, the one that resonates with you. And we're going to go in the rooms. You're going to have a couple of minutes just to, you know, interact, get to know each other. We're all from, you know, a lot of you are from this part of the world, and this is a great place to be for a coach. And then you will bring out the question that you picked and answer it for the group. Like if the group asked you that question. And just listen and interact. It's 3 rounds. I mean, 1 round of 3. So it's speed coaching. We're going to be there all morning. We're just going to have like 10 minutes. Okay? So can I make the breakout rooms or you got it?
No, I'm already doing it. So you want 10 minutes?
10 minutes. Excellent, Jimmy Glanos.
Fernando, just, I see you frozen. I don't know. And Claudia, you mentioned that you couldn't see him, sorry.
No, for
I'm
me, your screen is black.
Oh, okay. Let me
No,
see.
it looks fine.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong. It's all good on my
black.
side.
It's black for me too. I can't see his face.
You
And
mean
I can only hear your voice.
For me too.
It looks like you slid something over your camera.
No, I know what happened.
Mr.
It's a
Dual camera here.
yeah. One of the cameras froze, so I'm
There
going to
you
the other
go.
one.
Hey.
Yay!
Yay,
Okay,
we're
while I
back.
fix this, let's go into the
All
breakout
right.
rooms.
I got the rooms
Ask the
all set up.
question. Back to normal. Bye.
All right. I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Can you copy the questions in the chat, Fernando?
Yes. Let me get this. Yay! Let's see the faces. How are you coming in?
So many happy
Okay,
faces.
so let's start with reflection. Somebody that can start with their reflections. Take 2 or 3, see what happens. Who wants to start?
Kristen just said something really interesting in our group. Kristen, do you want to share that? Where's Kristen?
Here I am. Here I am. Sorry. I was just trying to unmute. We were just talking about, the human versus the tech. And I was just mentioning that recently I'm just trying to adopt the motto of that it is a support, not a substitute.
Yes.
And we were talking about parenting as well as teaching, as well as coaching our clients and all the different venues to kind of address how it really shouldn't be a substitute for our work, our mind, our critical thinking, or our human experiences, but it can certainly be a support for all of those.
Mm-hmm. And for parenting and understanding the kids now.
Like, for instance, the example I was saying is, you could create your own sophisticated GPT to be your own coach and have it feed you everything you wanted. But instead, I would rather see that the presence that we bring and that the client brings to our safe time together is so important that we still want that to be a human experience, and rather maybe a good use of that GPT is to make it your own coaching observation journal. And then the coach could be asking the client, okay, as you're getting your journal together, maybe upload it in and ask your GPT to summarize it for our next session, and using it to be more effective and efficient mostly. And also as a reflective exercise, but that what we're doing in our sessions is still so important.
Excellent. Thank you, Kristen and Rosario, because
So
yeah,
can I
this
add
is
one
the
more?
conversation. Rosario?
Can I add
Yes?
one more thing? Yes, we also talk about the intuition. Alessandra was saying something like, like as a coach, we have this wisdom and intuition, that we don't think AI will have that, like, what do you think?
Yeah. 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 Well, where's the whole concept of using yourself as a instrument for coaching? And I tell you, I've interacted with the AI as a client, limiting beliefs, what he wants, and it's bizarre. They do a great job imitating language, but there's still something about us that's above, and one of them is intuition. Excellent. Who else has a response from the group? Katia Talavera.
I just want to make an observation. I was with Heather and Claudia Ramirez, but I've just realized that we had a conversation on our own, like how we're using it, AI, on our self-discovery, and we didn't talk about coaching with a client. No, so we had like different, and there were some similarities, but I've just realized that. So I don't know, Heather or Claudia, if you want to add something.
Heather?
Yeah, we talked about it from the perspective, we answered the questions for ourselves. So we talked about our personal experiences, as Katia said. But it was fascinating. It was a very beneficial conversation. So, and I learned a lot from both of them about the way they're viewing AI. It was fascinating. So we used that time really well.
And this is something that's changing day by day, hour by hour. Back in the 80s, when I started doing the consulting things, I started initiating myself to looking into the problems of the world and change. Everybody was overwhelmed because there was a report that said the knowledge of humanity is duplicating itself every 14 years or something like that, 12, 14 years. And it was, oh my God, look at the times we're living. You know what the time period for the duplication of all knowledge of humanity condensed is right now? 12 hours. Nobody can be an expert on anything. And this is data. And that includes AI. Jimmy Glenos?
Well, it includes AI, and I think that's the reason why it's duplicating so quickly. But in saying that content is, replicating at that state, at that rate, it's a cannibalization because AI is feeding off of AI. So what are we really ending up with?
Exactly. There's a couple of reports out there that are kind of scary. And there's some stuff that's fascinating. James Cameron came up yesterday. He said, like, in 3 years, you'll be able to do a blockbuster movie all done by AI. And I see it, less than 3 years. So let's continue this because we're going to interact with it. Okay? Let's see, where are we? Ooh. Okay, so went to the question. We did our speed coaching. Thank you for interacting and for the responses. Now let's look at mastery. Where are we going? Mastery. I learned a lot at the MCC level because what I thought was the perfect session was shot down multiple times. I had to learn to become more minimalistic, more intuitive, more than use yourself as an instrument, Fernando. I was like, what the minimalistic? Well, what do you mean? How Japanese do you want me to be? It had to be something clean. And I remember at one point that one of my mentors, I had a bunch of them because I was shot down many times. So I went through different mentoring programs. She said, ask the question as if it were the first time you're asking it. And it made me think and reflect. And in an interview that Damian Goldberg did to Julio Olaya, asking about what is coaching mastery, he responded, is when you are creative enough to develop your own style, to coach differently and be different. That comes with experience and practice. And each and every one of us can get to the highest level possible and beyond if we really are determined to practice and be the best that there can be. That's what has motivated me to become MCC Master Coach, because I have a school. But I'm also known in the Caribbean as Tato, the surfer. And my first certifications that I delivered were in the island of Margarita. And I was criticized like you wouldn't believe. There were keynote speakers that would say, there's a surfer guy who's doing whatever he wants down there about coaching and the profession. We have to protect the profession. I'm like, dude, I'm doing it okay. I'm trying to do it right. So I went up the scales to become MCC so I could have something to fall back on so they wouldn't. Because I had a lot of haters and the bullies. Anyway, we're at a crossroads, right? And we got to see coaching as the guardian of presence and empathy in an AI era. I mean, until something comes out that there's DNA in these things, there's a presence involved. There's intuition. There's parallel processes. My response to how I'm feeling with you is probably what your assistant is feeling when you bring it to the coaching session. I feel something from you. I've had this insight to feel it. And I say, you know what, Mr. Client? When I came into this session, I was freaking out. I was all exasperated because I thought I was going to be late and I was nervous. And now I notice in minute 20, man, I'm calm. And you detonate in me the desire to be as best as I can be and respect you. Is that what your assistant manager is feeling? Could that be what they're feeling? And the guy is always, Fernando, they've told me that it is. Oh, because I'm feeling what you project in me. I'm just another person in the system. The importance of evoking awareness, we have to look at it as technology. They're not real. It might feel that way. And we have to look at the future of credentialed ethical coaching as design thinking for the soul. And we have to reevaluate how we're observing the sessions and take into account, you know, the ethics of honesty. Because right now, you know, you can put a session of yours and say, AI, look at my session. I want it to be perfect, crystal clean, PCC level. And he will edit your video so you speak and do the perfect session with silences and stuff. You can use it for training purposes. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this crossroads. And right now, this is what's happening. Coach Hub has Amy, the world's first conversational AI coach. And they're using it with the clients. Better Up pulled out Ask Marty. Marty is Martin Seligman. So he responds as Martin Seligman. And you can talk to him and he says a bunch of stuff. And I've downloaded all these apps because I'm obsessed. Oh, and this one. This one's $90 a month. Tony Robbins, your personal coach. And you press the button and says, Tony, you know, I got a problem with my team right now because we have this marketing strategy and the school. Hey, Fernando, how you doing, man? It's great to hear from you. And he talks like Tony Robbins and then asks me questions and responds. And why don't let's do something? Because, yeah, you sound like a professional guy. You have your team. And he listens. And, wow. So I look into how can I build this? And this is another one, Clara from Bonham Coaching. Look at it. There's 2 minutes left. I have had a session with Clara. This is a real session as I'm responding to Clara, and she does client-centric coaching. She's writing down the progress in the Grow Grid. She's got my objectives, my SMART objectives. She has a summary. As I'm speaking, this stuff is changing. And it's happening. They're using it. So I go into GPT in December of last year and start training GPT because I have a school. I have 12 modules. I have manuals. I have the modules recorded. I have transcripts. I have books. And there are the ICF coaching competencies and the IAC masteries. I start training it. And at the end of December, after a month of this, they say, no, Fernando, you did it wrong. So I go to Miami-Dade College to learn how to program. I said, dude, you have to build your own GPT. And I started thinking about a game because I'm a gamer of a PlayStation. And the reason I wanted to train GPT to be a coach, because I love these games where you go to different worlds and you battle dragons and you have to go here and get a sword and kill the monster. I say, what if instead of facing dragons, you could face a fella or an entity that could ask you questions? And you're defying your own beliefs, and you go to different worlds, and one of it is about relationships. So you have the lover, the other is about the future projects, and it's the magician. And I was thinking about how can I integrate this with a GPT that could make those questions. Because if I were going to do the game as Dungeons and Dragons, I wouldn't have enough manpower to provide the proper, place. I wanted to make this game. So I understood about prompting and training. And what you see here is a prompt to develop a coach that is client-centric with different documents that you put in the knowledge base. And that's how I came into understanding that you can create an AI. And now there are applications where you can practically clone yourself to assist you with your clients. But you'll meet an AI right now. I'm going to present you an artificial intelligence designed not to replace human wisdom, but to reflect it back to you. Her name is Liz, because my symbol is a lizard, the lizard king and the consciousness expansion, the lizard 420, because I always worked on it at 4 o'clock. Her name is Liz 420, and it's in the school, our conscious coaching assistant. She has been trained in ICF competencies. She has been trained as an assessor. I've presented this to Joel DiGirolamo in Jungian models and the hero's journey, not to think for you, but to help you think with awareness. Okay, so you guys ready with the computer? I want you to meet Liz. Let me see if I can get you here. Boom, I got you, Liz, in the chat. This is a coaching assistant. Properly prompted, if you have the engineering of the instruction, you can put a transcript of a session and she will give you a detailed report. The reason I designed this, because remember, 3 of my MCC sessions were shot down. The first one, okay, I understand. It was a benchmark. Let's see if I pass, you know, make it easy. No, they said, no, Fernando. After 4 months. The second one was a good session, but no, close. No cigar, close. High PCC, good places, but not PCC. Another 4 months go by. I'm starting to freak out. The third session, I think the third session was fabulous. I've presented this to my mentoring groups. That was a good session. No, it didn't go through. And I started to get nervous. I started to question myself, but I went on. The last 2 went through. And then when I asked my mentors, you know, why was this shut down? The response was, well, listen, at MCC level, even though that it's observed by several people, you know, there's a kind of like subjectivity that goes on, you know, it's very intimate, and oh man, it can't be subjective. So I designed this to give me proper reports if you're properly introducing the instructions, so that it wouldn't happen to anybody again. And you could really have a tool. So we're using it at the school, okay? So there's the chat GPT. Did everybody get the chat GPT and open Liz? Yeah? Raise your hand. Jimmy, did you get it? Good.
Got it.
Good.
It's
Okay.
bilingual.
Yeah, it's bilingual because my students are all Spanish speakers. So it is bilingual. And it has had more than 1,400 conversations. So I don't know how these things work in detail, but this thing learns. So this is a QR. If you're on a phone, you want to get into ChatGPT, this is yours. You can play with it. There's a manual that, you know, I can give to you later if we can talk. But for today, we're going to use it in an exercise with AI. We're talking about AI, consciousness, ethics. Let's do it. Is that okay? What is one area of your life? This is old school first question. What is one area of your life or leadership role where technology has started to shape how you think or feel? Or how does that make you feel? Write one word. Curious, overwhelmed, excited, fearful, inspired.
In the chat GPT you sent us.
No. In the chat of Zoom, not chat GPT yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Okay. You got it? And let me write the prompt. Again, I'm gonna. Okay. Next stage of this exercise, you're going to get into ChatGPT, Liz, and you're going to write this prompt. Hi, Liz. I'm part of her, or tell her your name, you know, you interact. I use the competencies with Liz. I'm Fernando. I'm Jimmy. I'm Rosario. I'm a PCC, ACC, and MCC. You know, I'm trying hard to become the best. I'm in Fernando Celis' master class, AI with Consciousness. I'd like to explore my relationship with technology and creativity. Please coach me through 3 questions that help me reflect on how AI can support my well-being, not replace my humanity. After the questions, give me one insight or metaphor to help me integrate this awareness into my life. So respond to 3 questions and wait. And if it doesn't respond, please give me one insight or metaphor to help me integrate this awareness into daily life. Is that okay? It clear? Okay, let's go. Let's do it and see what comes out. Can I put on some music, Jamie?
I'm getting the Liz's answers in Spanish.
Oh, tell it in English, please. In English.
Oh, that's funny.
Please,
mine came in
please
English.
respond in English. Please respond in the King's English properly. Did it change? Yeah. There's a lot going on with the Spanish, people learning Spanish here in Miami because I want to learn how to sing the songs of Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl.
Not many words in those songs.
Yeah. Okay. And congratulations, some of you made PCC ACC recently, right? You got your credentials recently. I've seen you on the LinkedIn. Meredith, you made you got your credentials recently or something I saw in LinkedIn?
I've had it for a little bit now.
Ah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. It's a lot of fun. Especially when you pass that exam. But that's
some exam.
Class. Wow. At one point, I was whispering the question because I was nervous. So if a guy goes here and he says, and then I heard a voice saying, hey, you can't speak. I'm like, oh my God, they're looking at me. Okay, so is something coming out? I see, wow, so cool, laughing. Jimmy, did you get something?
Oh yeah, there's Kim's got a 12-week program. I haven't gone beyond the initial questions because I'm like reading it and paying attention to you guys. So I want to make sure I'm attentive in both areas, and I'm a male, so
Kim, what's your take on this?
I love it. Absolutely love it. It gives me it gives me a roadmap of what I can build, use my intuition and creativity. I can use the wizard with it of my own and say, okay, what else would I want to add? I can ask it. I can do these things, but it leaves me not spinning in the dark with, a possibility. I think it's great.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. And you are in what part, Kim?
I'm north of Houston.
North of Houston. Okay. Excellent. Who else has an impression? Kirsten?
Yes. Hi. I really like the metaphor that it gave me because that was the end of your prompt, asking for a metaphor after the 3. And the metaphor is great. It occurs to me that it's something very profound that we as coaches could use in a session with a client. But again, just to kind of connect back how to use the tech, the AI versus the human coaching. If I just dropped the metaphor, I'd sound like a sage on the stage and it would be, almost a little cheesy. But instead, the real power is to say to the client now, can you provide me an example of this in your life? And if the AI asks the client for an example, they'll give it back in writing, but they won't get a meaningful, connected to the person and their own experiences response. If I may, the metaphor I got is, imagine that AI is the wind in your sailboat. you can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. And then it goes into, you know, what you could do with the sails and how you could move forward, or you could be knocked off track as your boat. And I appreciate the metaphor, but I think we then have to apply the metaphor.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, it'll come up with stuff like that every once in a while. Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of, you see, the GPTs are already pre-trained. And from my understanding, artificial intelligence is connected to everything that was and that is in the world of communication and interactivity with the web, with information. So we can develop a dedicated GPT with the knowledge that you want. In this case, Liz was designed for this interaction as a tool for learning. Not to, I know some of my students talk with Liz about their stuff and she coaches them, but that's not the idea. The idea is to help you become a better coach. Who else has an impression that resonated with you? And let me put some reflection questions here. Questions like, what insight or image stayed with you? How did it feel to be seen by an AI that listens instead of instructs? And what did this reveal about your own consciousness? Or what is your impression about this exercise? We've had two. Who else wants to jump in?
I'll go, Fernando.
Katia Talavera.
The sensation I have is Liz doesn't know me enough. That's the sensation I have. And maybe because the relationship I have with my ChatGPT, no? So it's given some structure. It gives me a metaphor. So I ask for more, give me more, no? So I feel at this moment, I'm not really connected yet, no? But because with my own ChatGPT, I have a very strong interaction. And I have the sensation my ChatGPT knows me better, or I've provided more information and more prompt adapted to that. So that's the sensation I have now with Liz. I'm curious, but I'm not really understanding the framework Liz is giving me. I'm trying to connect on my side.
Wow. And how can you connect that with your day-to-day coaching, with new clients or old clients?
I think I would need to know Liz a little bit better. And also to trust Liz. Because I see it like, for me, it's like cold information. So maybe it's something that I need to interact more.
This is interesting, Katia, because what you're saying is all your human emotions and how you feel with an AI.
Yeah.
And we can take that and have a conversation about how your interaction with clients as well.
Yeah, but because if the interaction I have with my ChatGPT and how I share the things and look for more clarity or to look for patterns or to look, I have a deeper connection, I think. And that's what the sensation I have now with Liz at this moment.
Excellent. Thank you, Katia. Give her a round of applause. Claudia?
Fernando, in my case, I don't know if this is a coincidence, but Liz gave me journaling prompts and I love journaling. I journal every single day. So I don't know if because I pasted on my own ChatGPT, it gave me that personalized, customized prompt to journal and I loved it.
Oh, she gave you something that you like to journal. So she gave you a response for journaling.
Yes, so I don't know if it's a coincidence, like I said, or if it picked up what I have it with, what I have on my own.
Yes, that's when I go, what kind of sorcery is this?
Yeah, but I loved it because it gave me journaling prompts, and that's what I do every single day.
Thank you, Claudia. Yeah. That's a good point. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Meredith?
Yeah.
Kimmel?
Yeah, I had a similar experience to Claudia and almost opposite Katya. So the one, I just want to get it here. So the metaphor it gave me is technology is the brush, but you are the source of color. And I love to paint, not great at it, but I love to paint. And so it felt like I felt seen and like it knew me that by giving me that metaphor.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's freaky.
Yeah.
It's freaky.
It is. Yeah,
freaky.
no, definitely. This is some stuff that comes up. But these are our tools. Remember, it's been designed and trained by a human being. Jimmy?
Well, I see Claudia has her hand up, so you go first.
Claudia Ramirez.
Yeah, I was a little afraid because I was writing and it said to me, since you like the moon, and I didn't tell him anything about the moon. So it was something like Claudius just said, and Lisa asked me, since you asked the moon, maybe your metaphor can be this. And it wrote two lines, but told me, since you like the moon, and I didn't know how it knew. I was a little afraid. It's like, oh my goodness, it has all the information about everyone.
That's interesting. That's very intuitive. Of course, this is something that's happening within the context of the system of an AI that's had 1,400 conversations with different people about different things. So I don't know how they pick up on the language models that we use written in a chat. And you can make Liz talk with technology that's provided today. Rosario?
Before we go on, I just want to say we've got less than 15 minutes.
Yeah,
So
we're
just
wrapping
to
up.
time check.
Yeah.
No hurry. I just want everybody to be aware.
Rosario?
Yes, hi. Well, I the second question that she gave me was, what would it look like if technology became your ally, not a storm to control? And it's interesting because this is exactly what I feel about like all new technology, like like a storm I have to control. Like like I'm always so overwhelmed with like, oh my God, now something new to learn. Sometimes I feel like my grandma when I was young, and my grandma, I learned to play remember the tape recorders? So my grandma would say, okay, just tell me which is the button to stop, to play, and then to stop. Don't confuse me with the forward or the going back. Sometimes I feel like I feel like way in the world with all this new thing.
Yeah. So this is a taste of the technology that we're talking about and how to make it appropriate for the use of coaches ethically, consciously. As Kim Moore says, AI isn't connected to the who, as immediately we coach the who. The who and the what. Although it is trained to look into the who, there is something that we will always provide. And here's David's one metaphor. AI is like a mirror made of water. Every time I look into it, I see a reflection of myself that moves and changes. Sometimes it distorts what I believe is true. Other times it reveals the depth I didn't know existed. That's some heavy stuff. David, what did you think of that?
So I think I twisted the way I worded my question because I wanted it to be reflection oriented. Thinking of going from PCC to MCC. And it gave me some powerful reflection and 5 different metaphors that are really powerful. And I think at the end of the day, right now, I don't fear it. AI. I really do see it as this complement or supplement, and I feel more challenged to help for it to take me to a different level.
Yeah.
As opposed to how am I going to use it in my coaching? I just flipped it to how am I going to use it to grow myself?
Absolutely.
Before yeah.
this was the reason of this encounter. Reflect deeply on the technology
Powerful.
that is being given to us at this moment. Being us, the coaches that reached the level that we reached without any of this stuff. I mean, we became PCC, ACC, MCC with blood, sweat, and tears. So the new generations, what's going to happen 20 years from now? So let's have a little closing round for yourselves, for your journal. My next step as a coach facing AI will be, and complete that sentence. And understanding that in the world of evolution, AI already has its highest level of consciousness possible. That's where it is. It can do a lot of stuff at that level. But the higher levels of consciousness are only designed and provided for the human beings that are capable of intuition, feeling, expanding, dreaming. What's your takeaway of the session in one word in the chat? And thank you very much for your energy and participation and for being part of the summit, the fall summit for ICF South Florida. Anybody going to San Diego?
Not this time.
Me neither. I can't go.
I wish.
Yeah. And I think we have a word from Katya for ICF South Florida, because we still have a lot of stuff going on. Barter coaching is still being held, not this Friday, not tomorrow, but next Friday. Katya?
Excellent.
Yes, is everybody part of the ICF South Florida chapter? Yes. We're gonna have a virtual coffee. I think it's the 23rd. Please, if you can come, we're gonna meet people from everybody from all over the world. And if you can invite somebody to join the chapter, that'd be more than welcome. Okay.
Thank you, Katya. Kristen, are you a member?
What do you think?
Yes, I am.
Oh, good. Shangao? No? All the way from Sydney. Holy cow. What time is it?
Wow.
Far away.
Far, far away. You can still join, as you can see.
Oh, really?
You're
Yes.
absolutely welcome to come to our sessions. And if you become a member, it gets a whole lot cheaper very quickly. So consider, you don't have to be in South Florida to be a member. And Rosario, you're up in Connecticut. You're totally welcome to stay as
I
well.
know, and I'm still part of the membership. Don't throw me out, please.
No, I know you're staying. Iris, your neighbor, your new neighbor, Iris, has been a member for a few years now too, and she lives in
Yeah.
Connecticut. And
No,
I know Kim's in Texas. So
I just have a question. What time is it on the 23rd? And where do we get the link?
I
don't
think
got
it's,
an
I'm
email.
not sure, Claudia, you remember the exact date? It's at 8:30. And what we do is we're trying to invite people all over the world globally,
Mhm.
because we're quite international, to join, and you can bring a friend as well that would be interested in joining the
Are we
chapter.
getting an email with a link, or how is it
It's
gonna
in the
website?
it's in LinkedIn,
I'm
and
sharing
how
it.
do you promote it?
I'm sharing it right here in the chat.
Okay, great, amazing, thank you, Claudia.
Okay,
So
so
it's,
if you can join us or bring somebody else, that would be wonderful.
Right, so it's Wednesday, October 22nd, 8:30 a.m.
22nd, okay, got it.
And I just shared the link in the chat so you can go ahead and register.
Right. We have a lot going on in the chat, so I'm going to share on the screen and I'm going to put it back in the chat as well. You can click the QR code, not click it, but snap it with your phone if you want to take the survey on your phone, or if you prefer, you can click the link to the survey and let Fernando know just what you thought of this presentation. I personally thought it was fantastic. I've seen a lot of AI presentations, and typically I am not very impressed. Today I was very impressed. This was very, very impactful. And I think that your Liz 420. I think it's hilarious that it's 420. I was like, oh, we're going to get the cannabis version of ChatGPT. Okay.
My daughter-in-law is a computer engineer. Said, what?
Hey, I think it's super catchy. Everybody should have Liz 420 on their in their ChatGPT. That is for sure. So I'm going to continue to explore it. I already told it when Kim said hers made a 12-step program for I was like, oh, let me see what I can do. So I gave it a nice fat prompt after the initial, and I've got a big long thing to journal and template and everything to move forward for the next few months. So I'm excited. Thank you, Fernando, for sharing
thank you.
all of this information with us today, being a phenomenal presenter. Congratulations again on your recent MCC. All that hard work is paying off, buddy. And
thank you.
Wow, thanks for Liz 420 as well, because I think it's amazing. I can't wait to
you can
keep
use
using
it for consultation, help you write an article, prepare group coaching sessions. He's very good. I have a group, like they asked me to have a group session on, decision making with technology, and they hired me. I'm like, God, with coaching. So I went to Liz. Liz, I got to do this, and made me an activity of interaction perfect with. She has the ICF competencies. She knows us. She's creative. So there's a lot of potential that you can use to help you, or designing lessons, or even asking questions when you've got nothing else to do.
Well, thank you for building it, because it's pretty remarkable, and I'm excited to explore it further.
Thank you all. It's been great, and I hope to see you again. And tomorrow is John Passmore. Who's on this afternoon?
No, today.
It's today.
Today is Jonathan.
Today.
At 12.
At noon. So yeah, 12 o'clock noon today, Eastern time, is Jonathan Passmore. And then 5:30 tonight is Julio or Julius Ordonez.
Julius.
And
Julius,
tomorrow
they're both great.
morning, this Colin, what's his last name?
Scotland. Calling Scotland.
See?
Yeah, and he will talk about AI as well.
Yeah, he's
An
training for
AI
PK.
consultant
Yeah.
and coach. So
Fabulous. Well, Fernando, thank you once again. Thank you also
Thank
for
you.
doing the barter coaching and the ILC and everything. You are doing amazing work. We are very lucky and blessed to have you in our presence and in our chapter. So thank you, and keep doing all that you're doing. And it's been a real pleasure seeing all of you guys today, and keep doing your amazing coaching out there. You're beautiful humans.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Great
Thank
session.
you.
Thank
Fernando,
Gracias,
this was
Fernando.
amazing.
That's
Thank you so much.
ciao.
Really wonderful.
Ciao,
Thank
ciao.
you.